Hello. Welcome back. It's been a minute. It's not been that long. It's been a couple weeks. My energy feels low in this video, but I'm feeling pretty good. I'm tired. Yes. I got 5 hours and 37 minutes of sleep, which was shorter than ideal, but continuous, according to my watch. Clearly, obviously, that's shorter than ideal. But I'm tired, but I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. So, yeah, let's see. I'm in like an interesting place right now. Where I feel like I'm doing pretty well this week. But it's really been off and on. And of like good and bad and good and bad and like dread and joy and dread and joy. And it's been exhausting. That's not why I'm tired today. I was just at a concert last night. Underscores, shout out, you. You. But it has been exhausting mentally and a little bit physically too, but it feels good. Excuse me. It feels good to know that I'm trying to make positive changes in my life right now. And like I've been, for once, like giving myself space to think and breathe and like think about why it's been in such bad cycles rather than just experiencing the cycles. And I really got to a point with the cycles where I was the cycles of good and bad, and like there's been a lot of stuff, like crazy shit that like I've been going through like within the cycles. It's like I've gotten into them. I don't want to go over everything in this video of like everything that I've been through, but just like insanely depressive episodes, and then like anxious episodes, but then there's like episodes of like everything is amazing, life is beautiful, and then it's like right back into it, and then it's like, oh, like I hate my life, and then it's like, well, I actually love my life, and then, like it's just like a crazy cycle. And then like dealing with like weird stuff like in my physical life too, of like I don't know, I'm not going into all the details of this one. Go back and watch the other videos. But I feel like within the last like week or so, or maybe 2 weeks, I've been really like struck by a lot of self-realization. I think a lot to do with the therapy that I've been having, and like what we've been talking about in our sessions. And it's interesting because I feel like everything can get explained away, obviously, like via like a diagnosis or something, not like an actual diagnosis of like a disorder, but like a diagnosis of like, oh, like this is why this is happening. It's probably because you're like this, and that is super helpful. But it's also like not an action plan. So it's helpful in understanding myself, but it's not helpful in understanding how to get out of something sometimes. And I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about like, I guess I should just explain like what I've been learning about myself, and then I'll get into like what I'm like kind of trying to do. Basically, me and my therapist had this like big old talk about like, I just came to him and said like, this is like everything. My life feels like insane right now, and I'm constantly stuck in the middle of like all of these insane decisions. Everything is exhausting. My anxiety is through the freaking roof. Like, I want to be this, and then I want to be that, and then I want to do this, and then I want to do that, and I cannot make up my mind about who I am or what I am or the world around me or why we exist. And I'm just this existential dread machine that goes in cycles of 1 week I am like, wow, life is beautiful, and then the next week I decide, actually, life is absolutely fucking terrible and I don't want to be alive. And like, I just told him about all these cycles that I've been having, and we talked about it, and I just like feel like more at peace knowing like, obviously, like I'm obviously not the only person like that thinks like that, but just to know like there are people that think like this, and it's like a normal thing to just have this kind of thoughts, whether or not, because I often just like get exhausted by it, because I like, I feel, I like look at everyone around me and I'm like, none of these people are freaking real at all. They are not fucking real. You are not having real thoughts. You are not a real person. None of my interactions with you are real. Why aren't you being real? What is happening? Like, am I even real if I'm like faking it all the time? Like, all this stuff. And I had all these like realizations about this. Like, some people don't think like I do, and that's fine. But some people do, and that's also fine. And it's just a state of ambivalence that I am just a person that deals with ambivalence of life in a much stronger way than a lot of other people. And I think it's just like what that really like, what how that manifests itself in my life is I always question everything, and I cannot, and it's like, on one hand I would love to like do everything I think I ever want to, but then on the other hand it's like, well, why don't I just follow the rules, make money? Like, I don't know, like, it's like I can't make up my mind of who I want to be, and I'm always wondering who I am, and that's like exhausting, obviously, but it's just like this state of ambivalence, and I didn't have like a label for it before, and I feel like we like stumbled upon that label based on like some like interest, I don't know, like some philosophy or something. Like he like brought up some like philosopher, and I was like, what? But it was actually like really interesting. I just was like, what? And like, I don't know, it's been nice to like know that like I'm saying like a lot bad bad public speaking skills right there, but it's been very nice to know that my state of ambivalence has a name. My questioning everything has a name, and also reasons behind it. All of the things that I question all the time have very valid reasons to be questioned. I'm just one of the people that are questioning them. And if anything, it's healthy that it's healthy to be questioning things rather than rolling through life without questioning anything. I would personally, because that was like what the question was, kind of near the end of that therapy session, like a couple weeks ago, was, would you rather live without this ambivalence? Would you rather just be like, I said like again, would you rather be a person that just doesn't question anything and doesn't really think anything else of anything, and just lives life as society kind of tells you should. And I was like, no. And I said like again, but like, oh. Wow, this is bad. Okay, I'm saying it a lot. But I did say no, ultimately. I wanted to say yes. I said I wish I could say both. But in order to make up my mind, I said no, because yes, I was leaning a little bit towards yes, because it's exhausting to be dealing with a brain that just constantly doesn't know if anything is real, or it's just questioning everything and the existential meaning of everything. But also, like, I'm just gonna, like, but also, that is who I am. And that's why I said no. Because if I didn't question things like that, I feel like I would not have a personality. And I feel like I wouldn't be myself and have the artistic thoughts that I think of, and I wouldn't be the artist that I am. And I'm not saying I am some insanely amazing artist that is constantly making some kind of masterpiece, but I do think about art all the time, thinking about how I'm balancing work and wanting to make things on the side, and thinking about how this commute that I have kills all of the time that I might have at home to be making things, and even how by the time the weekend comes, I'm too exhausted from work that I can't fathom doing any kind of sitting down and thinking and creative thoughts, because I'm just freaking exhausted. I think about this kind of stuff every day, and I would like love to be a person that's creating things. That's what I'm like, that's what I'm like built for. And I'm just really out of practice right now, which is personally pretty discouraging, especially because I feel as if I'm falling behind and I'm like losing my voice, which is really discouraging. I feel just like quite out of it, especially recently. I've been trying to make something again, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I can't write anything, which is really fucking depressing, and it's really saddening. Wow, I'm cursing a lot in this video. I really hope my parents never watch this. But I'm just an emotional person. Sorry, like it's just an exaggerative word, but it's an emphasis word. But I think about this all the time, and my entire life, I feel like, has been me trying to figure out this balance of making things, but also living life in the way that I need to in order to make things. And I don't have a very balanced life right now. My life is work. My life is fully work, and that's super saddening, because I don't mind the work that I do, but it's not the thing that I want to spend all day and every week thinking about. I would like to be making things that I'm really proud of on the side, and making genuine art. So, rather than, corporate BS. It's not BS always, but it kind of is. But yeah, so I find myself in this ambivalent state, and it's really nice to have a word for it. It's kind of like an indecisiveness where part of me wants to just be happy working and just like, because I have this great job, I live in like this great house with these people, and I'm not. That's another thing that I keep going back and forth on in an ambivalent state of like whether or not I should move, but I think I'm going to. But I decay. Because I'm an ambivalent person. But yeah, it's just something it's really been on my mind a lot of like it's kind of a diagnosis of sorts of like why I am the way I am, which makes me feel a little bit less crazy. But yeah, ambivalence. What else? Oh yeah, so I've been giving myself a lot of time to think over the last few weeks. I really made like a pretty decent jump to the other day and like deleted Instagram off my phone and like YouTube off my phone, and was just like, I'm gonna give myself time to be bored and think and stop over consuming and filling every single quiet time in my day with noise, because that's all I ever do, and it's really frustrating. And so that I know that's like another band-aid of like, this will help, and then like I'm gonna fall back into the trap of social media again at some point. But I think I really decided the other day, I went on a walk and I've said, and it was kind of like journaling, and I said, what if I for the next 3 months did these things? And I said, like, what if I committed to all of these things for 3 months? And it was deleting Instagram off my phone, like eating well, practicing mindfulness, what am I thinking? There's a whole other like few things on the list of just like other things that I want to do, but just an action plan of instead of living in just an ambivalent state where I question everything, and in 1 week I am living this super healthy lifestyle, and then the next week I decide actually nothing means anything, and I'm gonna stay up all night like and think about how like, and just like ruin whatever good thing that I had going the week before. And I just decided I'm just gonna make up my mind and do this for 3 months. This is an ambivalent thing. Like, it's like I'm ambivalent of whether or not I should like do any of these things, but like, what if I just told myself I'm gonna do it and gave myself a time frame, make it more specific? So I did that. I already feel much better. I already did re-download Instagram, but I told myself there were 2 exceptions. I think only 2. There were 2 exceptions for the Instagram thing. One of them was the Underscores concert that I went to last night, and the other one is my New York trip. Underscores concert, happened, I was on Instagram to flex that I went to the underscore show, because I think that's funny to flex that, because like literally nobody knows who she is except for me on my close friends story. And then 2, for my New York trip, I just want to be able to share stuff like via Instagram, and also like search stuff, and just be able to be I knew that for both of those times, for the underscore show and for New York, I'd be busy, and I wouldn't just be using it as a coping mechanism in the middle of like my days or whatever. And so it was like, I had it downloaded yesterday. I downloaded it after work, but I like barely used it except for like today, just to post some things, and then it's deleted. It's off my phone again. Same for New York. I know I'm gonna be busy like the entire time. I just like want to be able to like have it to like search things, and like I had like, it's like it's like an action plan. It's specific. It's something I can act upon as a goal of like this. I'm not gonna have Instagram on my phone, but for these different times I'm allowed to, because I know I'm gonna be busy, and I'm allowed to do it for these reasons, and that's not an unhealthy relationship. And I'm also allowing myself to like post as much as I want, but I have to do it via my computer, which is fine. And yeah, I feel like it was good for me to make up my mind about the ambivalent thing, of just saying, these are my 3. Oh my gosh, one of the things that I decided to do was to really protect my peace. This is a really important part of it, because I've been dealing with this insane anxiety for like months now that stresses me out. Like, obviously that's what anxiety is. It's like a different version of stress, but like my bodily stress has been so negatively affected that like oh my gosh, I can't even imagine my cortisol levels. It's ridiculous. My like watch tells me like my stress levels, and it has been like flatlining at high every day for months. And I said, what if I do all of these things pointed towards, what if I'm protecting my peace and not letting myself get so stressed out over things? Separating anything from the fact that this is not life or death. Even work is so stressful for me. I'm always stressed out over work because it feels like life or death to me. It feels like everything is super important, because I think of the way that people talk about it there. It seems like, oh, like this is everything. And there's like this aspect to it too, where it's like, it's my livelihood. It's the reason I'm able to afford to live, like pay rent and eat food. And so that in and of itself like grounds like my anxiety in it, where it's like, I can't lose this. And so it stresses me out very naturally. But all of it, I just said, this is not life or death. No matter, like, none of the stuff that I'm dealing with is life or death. So I need to separate myself from these things. I think it's working pretty well. I've been good for like a few days on this new track. So we'll see how this goes. Protecting my peace. And a big part of that is like making sure I sleep. Like I've been in this rough cycle where I've just been staying up late on my phone, and it's just like, I know this is contributing to my stress levels like really bad. So doing some things to aid that, I think, will support me. And I know that one also feels like a band-aid thing of like, oh, this'll fix me, drink more water, like that kind of thing. It's like, I know that those all feel like band-aids because I've tried all of these things over the last few months dealing with these cycles, and then I try it and then it doesn't work. But hear me out. Those things are not inherently negative. Objectively, actually, eating well, having less screen time, sleeping better, and distancing myself from life or death mentality of work objectively will help me, right? So I just really need to commit to that for, like I said, a few months. I said 3 months. I just want to go the whole summer committing to these few things with the, the few exceptions that I have already in place. But yeah, I think it's good that I just committed rather than doing it for a week and then saying, well, kind of want to like do this other thing, and like actually none of this is that deep, and like, so what? Like, about everything. It's like, none of this is so deep. I'm just gonna scroll on Instagram until midnight and then get 6 hours of sleep instead of 8, and then I'm tired the next day, and then I get a headache, and then I overeat, and then I watch YouTube instead of doing anything. It's just a bad cycle. So objectively, all these things will help. And I think I didn't overcommit myself. I did not say, this is like not like a New Year's resolution type of thing where it's like, I'm gonna work out 5 days a week. I'm gonna work out 6 days a week for 30 minutes, like, or an hour or whatever. Like, it's like, no, this is just me saying, I'm gonna just work on myself in small ways that feel actionable to me. And like, obviously, like throughout it, yeah, I'm gonna work out. I've never stopped working out for like a year and a half now or whatever. But I decided not to set like a hard rule for that, because as soon as I hit a day where I can't work out, say for a scheduling thing or just an energy thing, like I just don't have it in me that day or don't have the time for it, I don't want that one little thing that I had a goal for to slip up everything else, and then I say, well, I fell off and I need to like quit now. There's like a term that like gets thrown around, like the self-help space and like the health and wellness space. It's like consistency over perfection. That is what I'm going for, because I'm realizing how much of a perfectionist I am, and I set these goals that I often achieve. Like I did work out like a ridiculous amount last year. I had these very specific goals that I did because I have the time and energy. But right now, I simply do not have the time or energy to set any of these super specific goals of make a film once a quarter, like lose 50 pounds, like all of these things like that were super specific goals for me. I don't have the time and energy to do that, but what I do have the time and energy to do is make simple progress that will objectively help me. And I think it'll help create the space for these other things to eventually start falling into place. So, yeah, feeling good about that. Protecting my peace, progress over perfection, and ambivalence. Or not progress over perfection. Consistency over perfection, I guess, but progress too. Ambivalence, yeah, but I do have a therapy session tonight too. So we'll see how that one goes. And yeah, I've already been recording for 30 minutes, which is crazy. And I'm on my commute home, and I still have like another 30 minutes, 35 minutes or something. So super cool. Maybe even 40. No, probably 35. But that's all for now for this reflection. I'm gonna go home, go for a walk, to therapy, walk home, eat some food, maybe call my mom. And I need to go to bed early tonight because, again, 5 hours and 30 minutes of sleep. But do little things. Do not be a perfectionist. Just make progress. That's my plan. It's actionable, it's specific. I do want to soon start making specific other plans, or more specific other goals, other specific goals outside of just basic life stuff, because all of these things are very basic life stuff, or like lifestyle even. It's like, you know, stuff like health and sleep and screen time. Those are very basic, but I feel like I'm at the time now that I need a new basic, like, goals. So, and then from there, once I'm comfortable, even if it's after these 3 months, I don't want it to be after these 3 months, but hopefully it's during them. I want specific actionable goals. Excuse me. In the in terms of stuff like creative work, you know? Like, I hope to say, like, I have this goal to make this film by this date, and I'm going to do that by doing this, this, and this many times a week, or something like that. So that's the goal. Or like, and another goal is like learning guitar, and so I'm going to try to figure out like during this like time and space for that. But again, I don't want to be too perfectionist. So, small goals for now. Small goals. Okay, there's no way anyone watched 33 minutes of this BS, but if you're listening anywhere, anytime, thanks. But